Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another POV review. Today we're going to be checking out this 2022 Volkswagen T-Roc, which is their small-ish kind of crossover SUV, however you want to call it. Now it is styled quite strange, not my thing. I think especially this line is quite strange, how it swoops down there. It's running on, I am not sure what the size of these tires are. They appear to be 17 inches, and in the rear you get a decent amount of trunk space. That's all right. Not sure if you get a spare or not. Well, you can have a full spare, it looks like, and yeah, it's pretty roomy, I'd say. From an interior point of view, let me get in the back. Sitting behind myself, I have a decent amount of rear leg room, not too much space anymore. The upside of this crossover SUV type of car is that you have very straight seats, and you're also getting quite high, which is nice. You get two USB ports in the back, and bolstering wise it's alright. Not too much side bolstering, nor is there much in the front. Hopping into the driver's seat of this T-Roc, you're greeted with a pretty nice looking virtual cockpit and pretty basic navigation. So let me put the foot on the brake, key in, no keyless go on this one, and start her up. Engine wise, it's running a 1.5 4-cylinder turbo, which produces 150 brake horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque, which allows the car to go from 0 to 60 in about, I think, 8.4 seconds, which is not too bad. I think you get nice dual zone climate control, and of course the 7-speed DSG from Volkswagen, which I think is a pretty good transmission. Now, like I said, nice virtual cockpit. You can swap through the different views if you want. Now the navigation is still booting up, so it takes a little while, but I always like these fancy dials. So let me jump straight in and take her for a drive. So foot on the brake, put the transmission in D1, and we're off, so let's go. Right, when you have the transmission in its more comfortable setting, shifts are smooth, throttle response is alright. Now this engine is, it's a pretty good one, like I said, 1.5, and I think it works quite well, especially make it with the 7-speed DSG transmission. I do think it makes up for quite a nice pair. Now this is not the T-Roc's biggest engine, because you can also get the 2-liter turbo from the Golf R, and they also put it in here, which makes for a T-Roc R, which is pretty interesting that they actually did that, and I think it's pretty cool. Now if you flip the transmission into sport, the shifts are quicker and you get more power, or more throttle response at least. So if I punch it now, it's gonna go down a few gears and give us some power. Now you won't win any drag races with this, but for its intended use, it works quite alright. Now when we get down to the suspension part of this car, I am not a huge fan. I think it's way too soft. There's hardly any feel in the suspension, nor is there much feel in the steering. I don't like these kinds of cars. They don't drive that great. It's just not my cup of tea. Now it is nice that you have when you're getting into the car's pretty high, so no need to fold down the seat or anything. So it works all right for people who may want something to be able to get in higher but don't want a full SUV. That's where something like this comes into play. Now, like I said, suspension-wise, it's too soft. Steering-wise, it's also way too light, which I am a bit used to with Volkswagen, that they make quite light steering feels. That I feel quite disconnected from the road in this, which is maybe what most people want. I personally don't like it. Now this is supposed to be the sport model. I'm not sure what sport model means on the T-Roc. You do get nicer seats, I think. They give alright side bolstering, not too much, but they're in this like weird white-ish kind of trim, which I'm not sure I like. Now one of the big downsides, I think, of the T-Roc is that it was actually made in the time that Volkswagen had the whole diesel scandal going on. Dieselgate, however you want to call it, which meant that they had to, I guess, take away some money from things like this. So what you notice is this is all hard plastic, same on the doors. The overall look and feel of the car, it doesn't feel quite as high-end as, for instance, a Golf. And I think what they're trying to aim for with this is just to have a Golf that is more high up, but I personally don't think they succeeded in that. It feels more like a Polo maybe, which is interesting because they also have the T-Cross, I think, and that is definitely supposed to be a VW Polo competitor. We're gonna make a right here and continue on. So interior wise it lacks a bit, I think. I think this navigation is too small, the screen. And also a big downside for me is that the CarPlay resolution is really low. I think it's like 1200 by 700 or something. You notice that the buttons are really large, and I mean it does appear to work quite well, just the swiping actions, and I mean it does work all right. However, I think they should have opted for a slight higher resolution on the screen for CarPlay, which I think is a bit of a shame. They could have done a better job with that. Now, no driving modes to select in this car. It's just you get in, you can put the transmission in sport, but that's about it. So no fancy driving modes that you can change things in. There's a tractor. Welcome to a small village. Tractors and stuff everywhere. Try not to hit my car. You will have to wait. Now, engine-wise, it does pick up quite nicely. Car doesn't weigh a lot. I'm not sure how much exactly it weighs. I will put it up on the screen. I would think somewhere in the ballpark of 1200 kilograms maybe, or a bit less, 1100. So I'll put it up on the screen right now so you can see how much it weighs. And like I said, the engine, it works all right. I think you can also get this in 3-cylinder, but I do think this 1.5 suits the car the best in my opinion. Now, I do think with this car that torque is where it's at. Just riding it pretty low down, you get full maximum torque at 1500 RPM, which is quite low. It's pretty good numbers. You notice that up high it loses all of its power and it's no fun to drive anymore. So I would suggest more riding the torque wave instead of keeping it up high. It's pretty comfortable when you do that. The amount of power is all right and it feels pretty good. And the DSG transmission, there's not much to complain about that. It has been around for quite some time now. This is the 7-speed, so it's the newer one compared to the old one, which was the 6-speed DSG. And I do think that the transmission works really nicely. It shifts really quickly, because it is, of course, a dual clutch transmission, which means that shifts are quick and you feel like the transmission knows what you want to do and what you're gonna do. So I think that's one of the plus sides of this transmission. It's been in so many cars, and the Volkswagen have really fine-tuned this properly, I think. While we are approaching the highway, I would like to remind you guys to please leave a like on the video if you're enjoying it thus far. If you have any comments, be sure to let me know. And if you are not subscribed yet, I would definitely urge you to do so, because we have plenty of more cars to come in the future, hopefully some more exciting ones as well again. Because, I mean, this is fun, but it's fun as in I like driving different cars. That's about it. Nothing special this, and I'm definitely looking forward to get back in my Golf again, which is something that I keep, I noticed that I keep comparing that to this car, which is something of a bad habit, I think. But in general, it's a pretty good car. So if you're in the market for something like this, I would also urge you to look at other examples, maybe ones that have better fit and finish on the whole dashboard, because that's a big turnoff for me. Maybe it isn't for you, but I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.